Hey guys, I am Liam, and you are watching Fami channel. Ruby Franke, a YouTube mom, made her initial court appearance on September 8th and pleaded not guilty to 6 felony child abuse charges. According to a police document provided to Insider, Franke was detained after her 12-year-old son fled through a window at Hildebrandt's house. He was depicted in the records as being famished and wounded, with duct tape around his ankles, and going to a neighbor to ask for food and water. Family vlogging skeptics and people who have followed Franke for years have both expressed a great deal of interest in the matter. Following their arrest on August 30th, Jodi Hildebrandt, Franke's business partner, is being charged with the same offenses. With over 1,000 people crammed into the online meeting, shouting obscene insults and playing Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's NSFW WAP, their first court appearance was wild. Since at least 2020, many have speculated that Franke and her husband Kevin Franke have been abusing their children, and they have been expecting Franke to suffer consequences for her parenting. Only the beginning of a case that thousands, if not millions of people are eager to follow, has been made public with the first appearance. Insider consulted legal professionals about what a potential trial may entail and possible defense strategies. 6 criminal counts of child abuse are filed against Franke and Hildebrandt. According to Utah law, the perpetrator faces up to 15 years in jail and a fine of up to $10,000 if the injury was done on purpose. The legal counsel for Franke and Hildebrandt did not reply to Insider's requests for comment. Franke and Hildebrandt will remain in custody without bond following the hearing on September 8th. However, their counsel may make another bail request. The chance that they will be granted bail depends on a number of criteria, including the gravity of the allegations, their ties to the community, their criminal history, and their possible flight risk, according to Mike Schmidt, a defense lawyer and partner at Schmidt & Clark LLP. In cases involving child abuse charges, the court may be cautious about granting bail, especially if there is evidence suggesting that Franke poses a risk to the alleged victim, the attorney added. According to Natalie Whittingham-Burrell, a criminal defense lawyer and legal commentator who has been covering the case for Insider on her YouTube channel, the prosecution would need to show that the person who had care and custody of the child either intentionally caused the abuse or that the parent or guardian knew about the abuse and did nothing to stop it. Former Deputy District Attorney and licensed family law specialist Alphonse Provinciano told Insider that it is hard to predict whether Franke and Hildebrandt would be found guilty or what kind of penalty the court will impose. However, he said that he had witnessed judges impose severe penalties on those who committed crimes against children, frequently handing down the maximum sentences because of the breach of trust and abuse of power that the parent has over the child. Provinciano stated, "It is regrettable that it took the courage of a child to get out of the situation and take action. By preventing this from happening in the first place, the authorities in this case failed these children. The accusation plenty of evidence is available for the prosecutor to use in this case's impending trial." Whittingham-Burrell stated that they should be entitled to use Hildebrandt and Franke's previous YouTube material, which has long been the focus of intense debate and scrutiny from viewers. In some of the now famous clips, Franke is shown refusing to bring her daughter, who is 6 years old, lunch and taking her son's bedroom away after he pulled a joke on his brother. Normally it wouldn't be relevant because it's just prior bad acts, not really relevant to the conversation of what happened here, the woman added. However, I think that might become relevant if they have this theory of child rearing that includes a pattern of abuse. The films would be especially useful if they can demonstrate that Franke showed a lack of mistake, according to Whittingham-Burrell. So she cannot claim, "Oh, it was an accident. I didn't realize that this was abuse." If she has a history of mistreating children, she explained, it could demonstrate the method of committing a crime. She stated that the films might potentially demonstrate a motivation to demonstrate that the abuse was deliberate. She remarked that it could be the bizarre beliefs that came from the Connections classroom, adding that it wasn't accidental, it wasn't just negligent, it was intentional and knowing abuse on the children. Franke gained notoriety as the mother of the 2.5 million subscriber family vlogging channel 8 Passengers. She instead began investing a lot of time in Hildebrandt's family counseling practice and YouTube channel connections in 2023. The network, which places a strong emphasis on parenting, has come under fire for promoting a message that is too authoritarian because both Hildebrandt and Franke support total parental control. Any instance in which a prosecutor expresses their parenting principles and use that against them, according to Whittingham-Burrell. According to Schmidt, which is a high standard, the prosecution will have to demonstrate the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, notwithstanding all available evidence. It's important to keep in mind that court decisions might be unpredictable, he said. And ultimately, everything will depend on the testimony given in court, the persuasiveness of the prosecution's case, and Franke's defense strategy. The defending in Utah, malnutrition, fractured bones, brain injuries from beating or shaking, and suffocation are all considered forms of severe child abuse. It's a demanding and challenging case to support. According to Whittingham-Burrell, the defense in this case would probably ask to review all of the prosecution's evidence because it is common in cases of this nature for people to act hastily and emotionally. It's crucial for defense lawyers to remain emotion-free for the same reason. You want to make sure that connection is real if they're drawing a connection between the crime and your client, she advised. You must separate yourself from your emotions in order to ensure that the state has proven all of the aspects of the crime and is not simply making assumptions. She continued by saying that they would also want to consider their client's mental state because it might have prevented her from having what is known as mens rea, or the mental intent to commit the crime. Additionally, they will seek for witnesses to refute anything the prosecution's witnesses may say. You should look for any weaknesses in their arguments, she advised. According to Provinciano, Franke could only successfully argue that she was unaware of the abuse being inflicted on her children. Given that she was housed in the residence, he added, "This seems unlikely. It is likely that the kids were the victims of a strict and brutal parenting paradigm, given her own past assertions that food, drink, and shelter are gifts rather than necessities." Many have speculated that Franke's behavior became more severe when she teamed up with Hildebrandt, and detractors of Franke and Hildebrandt have been closely monitoring their content for years. Whittingham-Burrell stated that she would be surprised if Franke and Hildebrandt presented a unified face in court. The accused in these situations frequently accuse one another, according to her. However, she noted that brainwashing is not a recognized defense. She claimed, "The devil made me do it. It's not a defense." However, you can argue that this person was also abusing you, and you didn't feel like you could fight against them for whatever reason. Then maybe that is somewhat mitigating or somewhat of a defense, the prosecutor said. If that argument is employed, Sherry, Franke's oldest daughter who cut off communication with her family last year might be involved. 8 months ago, she talked about leaving her family after her parents joined Connections on a podcast. "If I'm Ruby Franke's attorney, I'm looking into it," Whittingham-Burrell said. "I'll say Jodi is entirely to blame. She assaulted my client in the same way that she did the kids." Whittingham-Burrell continued, saying that even if there appears to be a good faith basis for the accusations, it's crucial to keep in mind that nobody will truly know the full facts until the trial begins. Numerous videos, she noted, would raise a cause for concern that something was going on when the cameras are not rolling. But I always like to try to remind people to keep in mind that until the case is proven to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt, or the person pleads guilty, they are legally innocent, the speaker continued.